Hi, good morning. This is Sanjay Mohapatra, editor, Enterprise Journalist Magazine. I'm with Mr. Tom, who is Vice President for Emerging Market EMEA, Hitachi Data Systems. I'm here to understand from him about HDS strategy in terms of geographic penetration and Hitachi's market engagement with channel partners to the CIOs and CXO community. So my first question to Tom is to understand how the market is panning out, how Hitachi is remaining as relevant to the market. So Tom, how do you see this market day by day, month by month, quarter by quarter? Things are changing very fast.
Sure.
New technologies are encroaching on enterprise data center markets. So how do you see this market changing? How it is becoming relevant for the technology adoption?
So I think the markets are similar all over the world. There's a common factor, which is everybody's trying to drive down the costs of their IT. But increasingly the conversation's in the boardroom. So it's a conversation about how we can turn the data that we've collected into useful information and have it be more predictive about what we're doing in the business and be more innovative and shift our spend away from running IT operations to innovation. The CIO is under a lot of pressure, and I think we're really at a tipping point where many organizations just cannot continue with their classic approach to IT with siloed data centers, fragmented right across the data center, and no single view of anything inside the organization. So a huge amount of complexity and a lot of cost with that complexity in terms of supporting it and keeping it operating. So the pressure is really on to adopt a modern approach to running data centers and to focus on areas where they can improve the competitiveness of the organization. So it's not just about reducing costs, it's about getting a competitive edge. Our value add, or where we come into play inside of that, is what we're doing from a software-defined data center point of view. So everything we do is software-defined. So if you look at what we do in the classic storage space, we have a single operating system across all of our storage products and solutions, and we have a single pane of glass to manage right across all of that. So simplicity there. We're able to virtualize other vendors' storage products behind our products to help extend the life of that. We have a very, very big focus on converged solutions. So many organizations have not completed the classic convergence. There's still data center sprawl with hundreds, if not thousands, of classic servers in the data center running multiple types of applications, running multiple VMs inside those environments. So where they may have consolidated their core banking or core billing type of operations, there's still a huge amount of work to do on the other side. So everybody's having a conversation about the cloud, but there's a journey to get to the cloud. We take our customers on that journey by providing a solution where they consolidate that sprawl and get rid of that fragmentation, get rid of the siloing, and put that onto one single converged platform. That greatly reduces the amount of money that and the number of people that they need, which is always a sensitive organization, but sensitive conversation. So we don't need all of these administrative people. We reduce power requirements, reduce space requirements, we reduce the loads on the network, and we improve our performance dramatically. So then what we do in part of that journey is help these organizations focus on reskilling those people to focus on big data and analytics. So once you've got that journey where you've consolidated and then moved yourself probably into a private on-premise cloud type of infrastructure, which makes it very much easier to and faster to provision, to automate a lot of processes, to be able to bill out to the different parts of your organization, then you're ready to take the next step forward in ingesting all of those sources of data from the big data side. And that's where we come into play on the cloud and around big data. So, with our Pentaho acquisition that we did more than 18 months ago, with predictive analytics around there. So we're helping organizations move into a much more innovative phase to be more competitive, as opposed to spending money to keep the lights running. So we're delivering solutions all the way across there in terms of cloud, content, and converged.
Tom, this is very ideal situation that you are portraying, but the fact is that the CIOs are finding it very challenging to break their legacy system into pieces and go for converged infrastructure or any hyper-converged infrastructure. What is your strategy to mitigate their challenges, or what kind of challenges you feel yourself to address that CIO market?
So the challenges tend to be more psychological, because the logic of moving into a converged environment is there. Nobody can argue with a converged. So the pressure is on at a board level for the CIO, that they're getting reduced budgets, they're not getting more money. So they have to do something. So it's a logical path to follow. In terms of the emotional issues around what do we do with all the staff that we've got in the data center that we don't necessarily need to keep here as storage administrators, database administrators, network administrators, application administrators, programs for bespoke programs that were built 20 or 30 years ago, is to focus on reskilling those resources, okay? So that they're based on web-based technologies and around analysts as opposed to administrators, for example, and then developing new products based on IT that our customers then can take to their customers quickly in the market and be able to move very, very quickly. If you look at a bank, their ability to seasonally or depending on changes in the economy, overnight change the products that it's delivering to its customers with a mobile or a web front end. For a telco, depending on load on its network, to be able to dynamically change pricing and to dynamically put new products out on the fly to the customers. Those are the sorts of things that we're talking about. On a much bigger scale, of course, is the Internet of Things and what Hitachi's doing from a social innovation, okay? Because, of course, Hitachi makes a lot of things that generate data, in transport, in public security, in healthcare, in power, and taking that data. We have the infrastructure to capture that. We have the software to do something useful with that, and then taking that data to just deliver a much more efficient and a better result with the benefit to the public that are consuming all of these. So whether that's from a public sector or private sector point of view. So to circle back around, the CIOs have to make that choice now, and it's a tough choice to make. But they need to make that step now, and we can help them make that step.
And Tom, what are the key questions they should be asking while evaluating? Because you know that this market is pretty competitive. So do you suggest any questions that they should evaluate or ask themselves before going for any particular brand, be it HDS or any brand for that matter?
Yeah. So I think obviously customers. Some of them are early adopters, but some of them have a sort of wait and see to be sure that the technology that they're buying is solid, and it's secure and it's safe and it's 5 nines type of reliability around that. But really, I think the key questions are more around the ability to execute, all right? Because when you're making a change, you need a vendor that can stand beside you to make that transformation inside your organization, so as you don't have any disruption or downtime, to your business going forward. Hitachi is a trusted brand. It's a global brand. We're renowned for our innovation, our technology, but we're also renowned for the reliability around that going forward. And the other one is looking at the vendors that are able to deliver end-to-end solutions and not just one piece of the puzzle, because then it's easier to hold that vendor accountable, for what they're doing. and vendors that are spending a lot of money on innovation. All right, so R&D, Hitachi spends, as a group, we've got 330,000 people. We're a $90 billion business. We spend huge amounts on R&D. So we're able to stay abreast for the long term. So we have a long-term journey with the customer. And I think that's something that customers should be looking at when they're engaging their vendors. So for the vendors to be with them for the long term, and for the vendors to be continuing, to be sure that they're going to continue to be innovative over the long term as well.
Well, what is the breadth of solutions you have, and what are the solutions you are offering to this market? Because as I was talking to you at the beginning, that big data analytics is becoming very big here. IoT being adopted very fast. M-governance, e-governance, smart governance are becoming, coming into the market very quickly. There are big thrust from government of Dubai to make it happen quickly. So what all solutions you have in your kitty for the market?
We've got an entire portfolio from delivering the infrastructure onto the customer site all the way to them buying it as a service off our own cloud platforms. Clearly storage is still important. We're known for storage. Our unified storage platforms, which is combining file and block, as I said before, with a single management system across single operating system, single management system across all of the platforms, and then up into the compute and the converged platforms. We have very specific solutions there around SAP HANA, around VMware, around Microsoft Hypervisor, and plus any other Linux or Windows-based type applications sitting out of there. Then through onto the content side of that. And when we talk about content, I'm talking about object storage. So instead of storing the data in a file or a block format, we're storing it and tagging it with the metadata on that. There are multiple different uses for that for the customer. One is just for a cheap and simple way for archiving. Okay. The other one is for managing multiple files across an organization. So as it says, content management. So whether you're a bank or an insurance company or a hospital chain managing patient records, we're a leader in those content management solutions. But that content platform also acts as a repository for big data, because we can ingest huge amounts of data into that, and then using our hyperscale platform and combining it with products like Hadoop, and then our own Pentaho is able to deliver effective big data solutions. So, as I said, we're across classic storage, content, converged platforms, cloud, and big data. So we're able to deliver that entire end-to-end. So if you talk about the government who wants to enable a smart city, taking data in from multiple points, from traffic systems to weather conditions, to crowd control, and then ingesting that through vehicle sensors, through crowd control type environments, through our visualization suite, from our video security systems, and then pulling all of that in, and then taking that all the way forward where they can be predictive about how they manage crowds, how they can be predictive in anticipating possible crime situations, be predictive about how to manage environments around the weather so you don't have disasters on your hands.
All right. Can you give a perspective of your vertical markets addressability or alignment, and your present strength or present sweet spot as far as this geography is concerned?
So, in terms of our geography, so in terms of verticals, we've always been very strong in government, in telco, in finance and healthcare and transport and energy. So, as a group of verticals. In this region, it's pretty much the growth areas are around government and telco and banking and financial services, but we're seeing an increasing growth in healthcare across the region, both in the public and the private sector.
Okay, now the second set of questions I will start asking him about his addressability to the market. Gradually or increasingly, most of the companies from the direct addressing the indirect markets. So what is HDS strategy as far as go-to-market is concerned, and what is his strategy as far as channel strategy is concerned?
Yeah, so Hitachi Data Systems is a very channel-orientated organization. Having a good channel infrastructure is absolutely key to our success. So we're very, very pro working with partners. We have a strong partner program. It enables our partners and our distributors to make money. It enables them to also develop their own services business around that. So, and then we tie together our go-to-market programs around specific solutions and products to make sure that we're working those in parallel with our partners. Of course, we'll always have a high touch with our customers. So we have a high touch sales force inside our customer base, ensuring that our own strategic intent is looked after and that customers are well informed of the entire set of solutions, products and services that they can buy from Hitachi. But route to market is through the channel. We're looking for strong partners who've got a strong skills set, either around a solution set or around an industry, who are able to drive incremental business over and above what we're doing. So we're not looking for particularly partners to run a pass-through business, to be honest and to be frank around that. We're looking for partners that will incrementally grow the business. And are in it for the long term. So I think Hitachi has got a strong track record in that area, also in other parts of the world, and we're investing in that area across the whole of emerging markets, not just Middle East at this point in time.
All right. Well, from the geographic spread perspective, now you say the embargo is lifted from Iran, which is opening up with a new opportunity. And I'm sure that you may not have operation in Iran. Now, from the whole of the Middle East and Africa point of view, which are the market you are focusing on? Whether it's there in the pipeline or roadmap to address the Iran and Syria market as well?
So, I mean, Iran is obviously an exciting conversation. And at GITEX this week, there have been literally hundreds of Iranian IT organizations talking to the vendors. Clearly we're still under embargo from the US laws, so we have to wait to see how those laws actually unfold. And we look forward to that happening in a positive light and being able to legally move and operate in Iran. Outside of that, we have huge growth areas elsewhere. So Turkey remains a large and strong market. Saudi Arabia, in particular, we've recently opened our own offices there, and we're recruiting and skilling up what we're doing there. We have been operating in there remotely for many, many years, but we're making a major investment on the ground in Saudi. And despite the challenges in that, with the decreased oil price and possibly slowed down government spend, for the long term, we still see it as a significant opportunity and marketplace for us. Here in the Gulf, still remains a solid market, very solid market. We've seen a pickup, obviously, from since the financial meltdown in 2012. South Africa is a mature market, but still a very significant market for ourselves. And we've invested and we're growing our businesses in the rest of Africa, in particular Nigeria and West Africa, and Kenya and East Africa.
Is it Dubai?
So we've got growth strategies for different geographies right across the region.
Is it Dubai that you are headquartered in and operating, controlling the rest of the region, or what's the setup now?
We don't have a headquarter here per se. You know, I happen to be based here myself. Like all multinational vendors, we tend to, we're distributed right across the regions and right around the world. So if you wanted to look for a headquarter, it's probably back in Santa Clara and back in the UK for emerging markets. But we have significant parts of our organisation, spread right around different parts of Europe and Middle East and Africa. So we're on the ground in the regions. We're not running a hierarchical, autocratic type of business from one place.
All right, last two questions, very small two questions. In next 6 to 12 months, so what is your thought area? Where do you want to invest, or where do you want to see the growth coming from, or what are the activities you want to focus on?
And look, we're looking for growth from everywhere. But I think that we expect to see significant growth out of Saudi because we've made a big investment there, and we need to go and acquire our share of the market. Also, right here in the Gulf, I'm expecting significant growth, and we've made quite a significant investment in the Gulf region over the last 3 years, and we've made more investment this year. So that's also an area I expect to see significant growth from. And likewise, in Turkey and out of Africa. I think, South Africa is a fairly mature market. We've got a big slice of the market down there. But again, we've got a lot of new products that we've brought into the market, and we expect to grow market share with those new products that we've brought in over the last 2 years.
Well, last one. As far as this Expo is concerned, you are having your own booth over here, and you are present. I can see your logo many places in certain other booths as well. So, have you got, or are you getting right amount of ROI out of this, or what's your take on this Expo?
Well, we'll count out all the numbers after GITEX. But we've certainly had a lot of interest. You'll see on our stand that we've gone for the innovative end of it. So we haven't talked so much about our infrastructure solutions per se. We focus on what you can do with those infrastructure solutions, and that's certainly attracted people in terms of what we're doing around big data and analytics and social innovation. So we've had many government representatives stop by and ask us what we're doing about smart cities. But we've also had many private companies stop off. So, of course, we've had our existing customers come by and spend time with us and talk about the new solutions that we're offering. But we've had a tremendous amount of interest from new customers in terms of what Hitachi is offering out there. And I think people can feel that we're doing something different, and we do understand how to add value and not just put a bigger, better, smarter piece of software or piece of hardware on their site and then walk away. And I think that's what's engaging customers, is how we're able to deliver the total solution. So it's been a really, really busy week, and I would expect to see that we have had a return on the investment we've made this week at GITEX.
Thank you, Tom. It's absolute pleasure talking to you.